what's shaking, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Disjointed Podcast. I'm your host, Dave Germain. This is the podcast where we ask the question, what does it take to go from a 9-to-5 life to one of creativity? So we've had burlesque dancers on the show, we've had filmmakers, we've had writers, and a lot of comics, and today we have yet another comic, somebody who's been in the scene for quite some time out here in Denver.
5 years.
5 years. Sonne Sheilds, everybody. Welcome to the
Hi,
show.
Everybody.
What's shaking, man? This has been, quite frankly, a long time coming, man. This is...
Yeah, we planned this a while ago.
Yeah, about, let's see, I moved to Denver, 2013, and shortly after...
Did we talk about it way back then?
Probably, and I think and it's one of those things that, like, the old saying goes, is like out of sight, out of mind, you
I'm
know.
not very prominent in the scene.
Neither, I haven't been nearly as much either. So it's one of those things where we haven't seen each other for a while, and then I think we saw it twice in a month, maybe.
Were you at Buckskins?
Yeah, I was in Buckskins.
Yeah. Terry Barton Griggs, Mike every Thursday.
Every Tuesday. Tuesday out in Sedalia, man. They actually got a pretty good kitchen and a lot of food. Oh
yeah, I had a chimichanga.
It's funny when you start going to Mike's when you go like, this Mike is so awesome. I even consider spending money at it. It's a rarity for comics.
It's hard to go out. Well, I don't go out every night, but a lot of comics go out every night, and for you to invest in a drink or food every night, that adds up.
Right. And then I also think the only people I see that always go out every night, I'm like, I don't know how much do you work a day job?
Right.
I'm like, I don't know how you do it because I didn't have that. Maybe, but then again, I think the difference is that's also, and this isn't a knock on the number younger comics and stuff, is that's very much their social scene.
Yeah.
There's people I socialize with outside for other reasons and stuff outside of the comedy scene. So I don't know if that's a benefit or not, but it's just one of those things where I don't always go to do a mic just so I can hang out with folks.
Yeah.
There are some exceptions. Wednesdays, mics and stuff, because I know Jake and Bear are going to be there, and those guys are buds.
Devon's?
Yeah.
I love Devon's. I used to do Devon's every Wednesday.
Yeah.
Back when Abby Alt hosted it.
Yep, that was before you had your mic over.
And then I got a mic at the watering bowl at the dog bar. My mic was pretty sweet for a couple years, but that is no longer. And I actually gave food at my mic, so I gave a pizza and beers to my comics, but I never got a huge turnout, which I kind of liked because it was like a sunny, fun time.
Nice.
I ran the show. I yelled at people for picking up their dog poop because a lot of them didn't.
Really?
Yeah, people don't watch their dogs. They just bring them. And they go inside to get a drink. I'm like, dude, your dog's going to poop within the first 10 minutes that they're here.
Yeah, that's what they do.
It's like fight or flight. It's poop and play. You know, they got to lose that weight to run around.
Exactly.
People are like, my dog already pooped today. I'm like,
it's different. There's other dogs now, yeah. They got to snap one off, all right?
Well, I used to joke all the time because I haven't taken a math test in years. But back in high school, whenever there was a math test, I had to poop. Every single time. It didn't matter if I already did my duty for the day. It's so I'm like, this place is your dog's math test. This is...
You're like, long division, I'll be right back.
Just pay attention. I can't think with this load in my belly. That sounded awful. That sounded really bad.
There's been worse things, man. Oh, like I said, Cherry was on earlier today and stuff. So.
She was here today?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant a couple days ago.
No, she was here earlier today. So
I'll have to tune in to Twitch and watch her.
Oh, yeah. The video's already up.
Oh.
So, yeah, that's the cool thing is once you're pretty much done streaming, you give it maybe 5-10 minutes and you can add it to the, all those things on the right there. Uh-huh. Those are all previous episodes that I've done. So, basically what I could do is just hit start vodcast.
Sweet. Sam, got it?
Yeah. So, the most popular one still was the porn star that I had on from the 90s.
How many views was that? 25, 135, 333, that one?
Yep.
Nice.
Melody Anton.
Oh, if you guys did miss Cherry's boobies and you want to see them, you should hit her up on Snapchat. I'm not sure what her Snapchat is, but...
Just look around for it.
Yeah.
They have... She's Cherry pop.
Oh, I love that woman. They do Monday nights at...
Three
Kings, yeah.
It was pretty weird. There was... I was telling her, I needed... I felt like I hadn't done any writing in a while, and I was driving around just trying to clear my head, because I was just really frustrated about something. And I happened to be near Broadway, so I was like, I haven't seen Cherry in a while. I got the internet, But thing is I don't like going to strip clubs. I stopped liking going to them a long time ago.
Yeah, it's a tease.
Yeah, it's pretty weird. Luckily it didn't hook me like it hooked a lot of my other friends.
Going to the strip club?
Yeah, because it's become such a regular thing, and they end up dropping so much money there, and after a while they kind of get addicted to the attention and stuff. So, but yeah, either way, I go there. I'm like, hey, there's Cherry, but I forgot she's performing now.
Did you take your pants off at the door to get in for free?
No, I got money.
Oh,
but,
hey, your cat came to see me.
Yes, that's Babu.
Yeah. Hi.
She doesn't know anything about personal space.
That's all right.
So.
You're drooling already. I make all the pussies drool. Sorry, I'm a lesbian. I don't know if you.
What?
Yeah. It's true. I'm not just a really pretty boy. I'm a lesbian. There's boobs hidden under this sports bra.
I'm sure there's somebody still out there who's like, wait, what? Huh?
What? I thought that boy just had a really high voice.
Like what?
Oh, your cat's getting all okay. You just burrow in there. That's all right. So you're talking about going to see burlesque. That's where we're going.
Yeah. So I was going there. I'm like, all right, I'll pay the $5 and stuff, and I'll just go see because maybe I was looking to be inspired about something to try to remind myself of that feeling of that weird infatuation you get when you see somebody and you're like, wow, maybe like a good dance routine or something like that.
There's some really good performances.
Oh yeah, totally. And what I found is that it's weird, that kind of distraction that I needed when I'm like, I'm going to try to avoid looking at all these titties. And then I just all I did was keep like looking at the blank paper, and I wrote for like a good like at least 3 or 4 pages worth
Isn't that disrespectful to go to a burlesque show and just look at your?
I was sitting in the way.
Okay,
in the
as
back.
long as you're not up front or something.
Oh, I wouldn't be like, I'm not that big of a douchebag. I wouldn't do that. That's kind of rule. I'm like, that's like a silent heckling at a burlesque show, and I'm like, wow, you are a piece of shit.
We're doing that at a comedy show. Like I saw one of the comics even at Mary's was on their phone the whole night, and I'm like, well, that's a little.
If I'm gonna do that, I'll be somewhere in the back.
Yeah.
You know, I had this weird. Speaking of being a dick, here's something that is not going to make me look in a good light. Is it like if I'm going to be on my phone and I'm going to try to work on some jokes, I'll try to be in the back, right? I think the few times that I wasn't, it was like at the Harrison's mic and the only seat that was up towards the thing. But I kind of turned away a little bit, and I'm like looking at the papers or whatever. I've seen some folks get really, really pissed off. It hasn't happened in a long time. And I'm like, you're supposed to support the scene. I'm like, if you want to support the scene, fucking be funny to the point where I can't look at this. Attention. I have to pay attention.
A lot of comics do the same bit every set, and they hit the same mics. And
right.
It's really hard to feign interest.
So, I mean, if they're doing something different, then I'll pay attention. I'm like, oh, they're trying something. They have a different setup for this one, or there's a different punchline or whatever. Like, we've all seen each other's acts quite a bit. So, but if they're just phoning it in, I'm like, well, if you don't give a shit about it, like, sorry.
You got to command your audience.
A bit, and you're always you're always very engaging and stuff.
I try not to write. Actually, I don't really write stuff down. A lot of times, I'm not prepared whatsoever, and I don't really know what I'm going to talk about until I get up there.
Like, well, we're here.
Let's talk about something gross. Let's talk about periods. Let's talk about poop. Let's talk about my ex-girlfriends. So some of my stuff might be. I like to be authentic, and I feel like sometimes you lose that when you've got a plan.
Yeah. Well, I think there's an element as far as like the creating in the moment. Absolutely. But for me, like, there's what I get frustrated with myself about is when I know that there was an idea or a premise that I was laughing about earlier in the day, but I didn't bother to like work out and actually, or like, say like, oh, the reason why this was funny is because I set up this and this.
Yeah, you have to have like a roadmap.
Yeah, a little roadmap and stuff. So if I go up there and I just basically say the punchline, the part that I thought that was funny, without anything else, it just.
Yeah. Imagine if I wrote shit down. Like, I'd be like extra funny.
It couldn't hurt.
Yeah.
It wouldn't hurt any of us.
Yeah.
You know, that's what the weird thing is. Like, folks would. Like, I learned about all that preparation, all that other stuff in like theater school and shit. But
well, Chuck Roy teaches classes, so I'd imagine. Like I mentioned up at the Terry Barton Greg's mic that we were at Sedalia, Buckskins.
Yep.
Buckskins. I was like, yeah, Chuck Roy probably knows that there's supposed to be like a premise, like you state something, and then you support that, and then there's like a punchline,
then a reverse or
something,
something,
and then something else, and then you can do like a callback, which is when you mention the same thing again later on in your set. And everybody loves callbacks. Yeah. Like I usually get like a really good response if you can somehow reference a joke that you made earlier.
Well, because then they feel like they're part of it. It's kind of weird. It's this weird little kind of trick in a way, or and I wouldn't say call it a trick. I think it's just an aspect of joke
skill,
telling.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't
Joke-telling
think I have
skill.
any. I have no
No callbacks. I don't think I've done callbacks. No.
I don't believe in callbacks. Basically, my art is
thing.
all in the moment. But no, I remember the reason why I wanted to have him back on the show was because he had a showcase of the voodoo.
Chuck?
Yeah, and that was basically all of his students and stuff. That was part of the final exam.
Yeah.
And they all had a different. They were all pretty good. I won't say that I mean, they were still like year one comics.
Yeah, green.
But a lot of the mistakes and stuff that most of us made, they managed to avoid all of that. And the thing is, what was great about it is that all their humor was different. Their sets were different. So he really taught them how to get their own voice.
Keep the uniqueness. Whoa.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not a scratching post. Okay, we're gonna. There you go.
I've told you many times those claws.
I like it rough, but not.
This is a weird thing. Like, the moment I try to go to sleep, she's gonna either want to sleep on my shoulder.
She'll need you.
Yeah, and then she'll try to keep her claws away from me for a little bit, but she was like had her paws over me, over my shoulder, but the claws were right next to my ear, just scratching into the pillow. So all I could hear was, I'm like, that's even worse. Stop it. Yeah, she's a little creepy kitty.
Gotta love pets though. I got a pup, bigger than your pup. Yeah, she'd be nice to you though. Your pup is funny. Look at your dog.
Yeah.
Have you had your dog on the video before?
Yeah. But now that he usually just like in a moment he'll probably snuggle back into that blanket and be like, all right, I'm done. So you've been doing comedy for pretty much for 5 years and stuff. What made you? We'll start with an origin story. It's been like what 10 minutes. What made you decide to want to give it a shot? Like, because there's a lot of folks that watch this and they're like, I'm thinking about it, but I don't know. What was that thing that got you?
Mostly, I like attention.
Right.
I think if I got like a too large of an audience, it might be overwhelming. But like, I like a good amount of attention. I think I tend, part of what I have on my van, which my do-wagon, which hasn't been running for a while, is mood improvement. Mm-hmm. I mean, I do like carpentry and restoration and project education, but like mood improvement, I think I have kind of an infectious joyousness about me, if you will. So a lot of comics would come on stage and be a little self-deprecating or like down or depressed, which is funny, can be funny.
Yeah.
But I'd almost like to be like a hype man. Like, I don't necessarily consider myself a comic. Like, I just want to be like a life coach. I just don't know what my message is to people yet. Like, I haven't even found my goals, my hopes, my dreams, really. Like, I've been a little lazy the past couple of years, so. It's
been weird. It's kind of been a strange past couple of years.
Well, I was on a TV show, All American Handyman, on HDTV, so that really was fun, and I ended up winning the title. First female to hold the title. I thought for sure Ellen was going to call me. I was going to be on her show.
Right.
I think she was intimidated by me as a strong young lesbian, that she didn't want me to outshine her. No, I'm just kidding. Maybe.
She's like, how many lesbians do we have on this month? All right, sorry, we have the maximum.
Well, she used to be a real big role model of mine. Like, she's one of the few people that was out when I was younger that I could be like, oh, hey, gay's okay. Like, this is a thing. Like, I'm attracted to women. It's all right. Other people are other females are attracted to females. It's normal.
Right.
So I wrote her a bunch after the show. A bunch of other people wrote her. I even went to LA and tried to get tickets to her show, which there are no standby tickets. There's like a standby hotline. I had people calling from Australia and like Europe that I had met on previous travels that were like, hey, Sonny's coming into town. You should see what's up with her. But there's no standby tickets.
Oh.
Ellen never returned a call.
That's a bummer.
Not yet. Letter, an email.
She
didn't answer the door when I showed. No, I didn't show her. I didn't stalk her.
She called the cops when she found me in her closet.
Yeah, she didn't like when I tried on her shoes. They're awesome though, Ellen. Your shoes are bomb. She got good style, but yeah. So that kind of spurred my interest in having more attention was the TV show. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I don't really hit up mics. I don't really necessarily, like I said, consider myself a comic, but I do like to do comedy.
Right.
I like to make people laugh and improve their lives a little bit if I can.
It's being just an overall entertainer. It's just sometimes it's weird. Like, I love entertaining folks, but like, okay, where's the best part? What medium am I better at than others and stuff? So yeah, that's a strange thing. It's tough. The reason why I started doing this podcast in the first place was talking about like folks who have their day job and they're trying to do something else. They're trying to be something else. It's one thing to watch every like Disney movie and then be like, oh, you just got to believe in yourself and your dreams will come true. it's not that it's, that can happen. Absolutely. It's happened to other people before, but for the most part, like, okay, like you were on TV for what? For a whole season?
It was 6 episodes.
Yep.
So I think it aired for just a couple months.
Right.
And the filming process was 3 weeks, but then I had to like wait 6 months for the episodes to air.
Yeah.
So I couldn't tell anybody that I won.
Yeah. So every time you're in a park, you're like, "Grr."
Oh, I bought a plane ticket to, I think I went to Europe. I went to Europe. I toured through Europe, and I told everybody in Europe that
Nice.
because they weren't gonna watch it. It was fine, right? Don't tell nobody in America, but I won this TV show. It's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I was on like one episode of a reality TV show.
Did they have a craft table?
Yes.
With craft services, all the food you could possibly want, anything you could possibly want.
Right, but I didn't touch it. Well, it's one of those things. One of the things that I learned from Raleigh, who's an old teacher of mine, he was like, okay, if you're a talent, wait till the crew's done eating before you eat, right? Little things like that.
I don't think I have that.
Well, that was one of those.
etiquette.
I mean, if you're having if you got a good relationship with the
yeah.
folks on the set, that's one thing. But this was only one day that we were shooting.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, let me try to be as easy to work with as possible.
Yeah.
And it was funny just because like the community theater people that audition and they're trying to find a way if they can get on the show, and I'm like, dude, they already cast me. So like they were just kind of being snotty, and I'm like, fuck, you're an extra. Get the fuck out.
Yeah, I don't like when people are rude or
Well, I didn't say
off-putting.
that.
Well, not you being rude if they were being...
Well, it was just weird. I'm like, hey, how's it going? My name's Dave. And he's like, hey. I'm like, okay.
He was in his head, maybe. I don't...
Could be. Like,
or
he
had his
tried...
head up his ass or something. I don't know.
I know, but I know the one little scene, the line that he had. Holy shit, did he try to sell that line? I'm like, wow, good for you. But the thing is that, like, well, the point I was trying to... Yeah, he's, like, trying to dig into the couch.
It's cool. You can make it softer.
Yeah. It's just because something as awesome as like being actually on TV, that doesn't mean suddenly there's a switch gets flipped and suddenly everybody knows, and then people just start calling and, oh, hey, would you like to do this again? That's not the way it works. There's still, you got to go back to your day job.
I thought there'd be a big like I said, I thought Ellen was gonna call me.
Yeah.
But I put all my eggs in the Ellen basket. I should have hit up like Queen Latifah or something. But
Did
talk
she ever
show.
make that official, or is that just more of an understood thing?
Oh, well, as far as her being a lesbian, I'm not sure. She definitely comes across, like, my gaydar is going off, but she had a show was my main point.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I always like Queen Latifah,
Yeah,
I think.
she seems like a good, like, a friend to have. Like, she'd fuck somebody up if you got, like, a scuffle.
Oh, yeah, totally. Her dad was a
Yeah.
cop, right? Like,
Yeah, I wouldn't mess with Queen Latifah.
No, she knows that she can drop some elbows and be like, the forecast today is pain.
Yeah, I should have hit her up, dang it. But
Well, there's a couple stories I know from back in New York, but
later.
yeah. Because it would be irresponsible to spread rumors on the internet.
Yeah, don't do that.
But
I'm going to scooch in the frame more, maybe.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm good.
I think.
It's a little bit delayed. Let's see. Oh, there I'm scooching. There we go.
Okay.
Looking good. Okay. Sorry, my phone keeps going off.
Oh, no worries. I keep thinking it's mine. I'm like, wait, did I turn mine?
No, I'm popular.
But yeah, it's an interesting thing, is because we're like, you and I have been in a position where we've done something that most people have not done, and I guess the reason why I know I mentioned it a lot, guys, and I know it's obnoxious, but what's important about that is that it was important for me to get away from that idea that one thing is going to happen and then suddenly all the success is going to follow. It's constant.
You got to grind, yeah.
It's definitely a grind, but
Sounds dirty, yeah.
But I'm happy doing that grind, though. I actually find more joy in that than anything I've had up until then.
I mean, I think I gotta go out and I gotta do more, because you want to get on shows to get exposure. I mean, granted, I want to put out more YouTube videos too, because I have a YouTube channel, which I've got some I think I have my very first stand up on there, which I'm probably not very organized or prepared at all. But you got to just start sometimes. You got to just like jump in and go. Like, if you guys are out there like, I got to write this down, I got to be 100% prepared. No, you don't. Just go do it. Like, you're gonna fuck up and probably not do as well as you like a bunch, but then you'll start to hone your skills and you'll have hecklers. You'll learn how to shut them down.
How to deal with a bad performance. It's where like coming from like a theater performance, or folks, so let's say who are musicians and then they want to try comedy, it's kind of rough for them because they're used to the whole thing of rehearsing and practicing and rehearsing before you have so you have this nice polished product, before when you go out on stage. And comedy's not that way at all. The only way you're going to get better is by failing, basically, is by going up there and just eating shit,
I've never bombed. I bombed once, actually.
Only once. Other than that, it's been stellar.
And it was at my bar, like the only lesbian bar in Colorado is called Blush and Blue. And Susan Underoos, Bubbles?
Oh, yeah.
She hosts a show there the first Friday of the month, which is bad timing, Susan. I told you. First Friday of the month, there's like a big lesbian party at Trax.
Oh, really?
Big lesbian gathering. Like most lesbians in one spot in Denver, like one day of the month.
Wow.
And so first Friday, it's if you don't, it starts the show like 8:30. Most people are gonna leave by like 9ish,
right.
9:30. But I was actually doing a different show. It was Capital Hilarity.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's on Thursdays.
On Thursdays, yeah. Kara Williams, she's still doing that, right?
Yeah, and what's the other gal's name that hosts it sometimes?
Sarah?
Sarah, yeah.
Sarah Haig.
Yeah, so I was up there right before Pride. I was just talking about the Pride parade and what was going on. Mm-hmm. Could not get anybody in the bar to pay attention to me. And these are like my people.
Right.
Like trying to get their attention. And sometimes at bars, people just, they got their backs to you. They're talking. They don't care that there's comedy. They're not there for comedy. They're there to drink.
Right.
And socialize with their friends. So.
Or maybe hook up with somebody, or
maybe that.
Or watching. I mean, I'm maybe not so much at that bar, but as far as like, as opposed to like Goose Town, where they have like 15 or 20 TVs in there, and they all got football
you gotta
playing.
turn the TVs off when there's comedy.
Right.
If you can't in the comic area.
In the comic area.
If you're a host, please turn off the TVs.
It helps.
Yeah. I'm easily distracted. I mean, look at our conversation flow. We're definitely bouncing from topic to topic.
Oh no, actually, you're doing really well.
We're
We're actually,
okay, good.
If you would have seen. Once again, if you would have dropped in on the Cherry conversation, we cover 15 different conversations at least every 5 minutes. Well, yeah, the Blush and Blue is kind of a weird room.
They moved it into the bar, like right by the front door, so the stage was right by the front door, so people would come in and like the light would be on them at this one particular time. And because there was going to be a meeting because it's like, it used to be like a rent-a-center over here.
Oh, yeah.
And then was the bar, and then there's a middle space. Mm-hmm. And they've opened it all up. And I helped them knock down some of the walls, so it's actually pretty cool. But
oh, nice.
The third area, which is still shut up, is kind of long. So that's usually where there's shows, which I like the separation of the wall, because they're talking about knocking down that wall, which would open you up to the rest of the audience, maybe. So you put the stage on this wall instead of back by the DJ booth. And you can maybe command the whole room. But I think if you open up that wall, you'll lose people by that staircase, and then be more of a distraction than not.
You know what would be interesting, I would think, is that if they take the stage from the back of there and move it to like the middle on the wall.
I did that for one of Susan's shows.
Oh, yeah. How did that work?
I loved it. Right. Because then the room's so deep, I think you lose people, even in the back. Even in that room, you still lose, like, you open up the back area to people feel like they can go ahead and talk.
Oh, yeah.
But when you're in the middle of the room,
you
kind of command the whole room.
Yeah. The weirdest thing was that I couldn't hear myself, and for some, I don't know, like, and this isn't a knock on Sarah or Kara or anything like that, but it was basically just that I could hear. So I'm like, okay, I need to raise the pitch a little bit on my own voice and stuff.
You need to play with the board.
A little bit, but I didn't want to go up there and just start like, hey, how's it going, everybody? Wait a second, we're gonna
check,
do this,
check,
and
check, huh?
So, as a result, like, I could not hear if anybody was laughing or not. Like, I could see that I was keeping their attention, but if the people in the front row weren't laughing, that's the only one I could hear because the noise was so much in the rest of the bar.
Oh, yeah.
So that's a really uncomfortable feeling. It's kind of like you can't hear, like suddenly you lost your hearing and you're like, all right, I'm just going to keep doing this and hope people like it.
Sometimes you got to keep going. I mean, sometimes there's not even an audience. We started last month's show and there was only the comics there.
Wow.
And, it was like right before Memorial Day. Was it Memorial Day?
Oh, yeah, so everybody's out of
out of town, and Tate's Colorado, so,
I had, the last time I performed there, I had brought 4 people. Actually, I'll include my wife. 5 people that I brought there. And I jokingly said, but at the same time, I was kind of serious. I'm like, I'm the biggest draw in this room. Like, what? Because I fucking brought people to a showcase? Who would have thought?
Sometimes you got to bring people.
Well, no, I think that's kind of the goal for everybody, right? I mean, like, ideally, like,
But you can't expect your friends to come with you to everything, and especially if you're pitching the same jokes.
No,
you
this
know?
is true.
Yeah.
And you got to like pick and choose. Like, I think I asked Jenny to come to maybe 1 or 2 different shows a year. That's it. So like if for some, I haven't been at Comedy Works well over a year or so, but
Yeah, I haven't been calling. You got to call Comedy Works every week.
yeah,
Call the info line, give your name, and then Deacon will put you on for 2 minutes.
yep.
2 minutes.
By
You
the
got
way,
2
if you're
minutes.
thinking about doing comedy for the first time, I would advise
Not
against
Comedy
doing
Works,
that.
Yeah.
No, because it's going to give you a really, really unfair view of what.
Because people are there to laugh.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
Are easy laughers.
And
yeah.
everybody is like rooting for you. You could go up there and read the phone book, and everybody's going to be like, "Holy shit, this guy's amazing."
Yeah.
And then you go like, "Oh, I want to be a comedian. What's the next mic? Oh, okay, I'll go do Lion's Lair." Like,
Then you
all
go to
right.
a mic that's full of comics, and the comics are thinking about their set and not listening to you and thinking you should get off the stage because I'm funnier than you. Probably. I don't know if
dude.
that's what they're thinking.
Or let's say if you do something that like bring a bunch of your friends to go. Like I've seen this happen before, where like somebody will bring like 15 of their friends to go to an open mic for their first time, so they could be supportive and stuff. I will stone face the fuck out of that person because I'm like, you got to go up here by yourself. Freaking take the lumps like the rest of us did. But you know, I don't know. I'm being a dick about that.
Yeah, don't be jealous.
I guess. But no, this is something I always thought that the indie wrestlers out here in Denver really have head and shoulders above the rest of the comics out here. Is that each one of those dudes is constantly on Twitter for the most part,
Who are you talking about?
the professional wrestlers,
Okay.
Lucha Libre and Laughs, those guys.
Oh, yeah.
Any one of those performers or wrestlers, they know if they can't get people to come see them, either get their ass kicked or to kick somebody's ass, then they're probably not going to get booked.
Yeah.
So they are constantly trying to figure out how they can find a way to draw, you know. And I'm trying to do the same thing. I'm doing this thing. I'm doing the podcast.
Tune
Doing all that stuff. So that way, when I'm like,
We
hey,
got
I'm
one
getting
viewer.
yeah,
Yeah.
that could be misleading because there's sometimes when folks will be like, oh no, I'm totally watching. I'm like, oh, you're not showing up. He's like, yeah, because I have it so that way you can't see me. Yeah.
I thought it was just the thing making you feel better about it, like saying there's
Right.
one viewer, but there's actually not.
It's probably that too.
Maybe.
We're doing pretty good though. Like, let's see. I think that was at 150 or 145 when we started the views and stuff. So people are checking in.
They
And
want to
I'm not-
know what we have to say.
Exactly. Well, anybody like I said, there's a lot of folks that will ask questions about comedy and what are the do's and don'ts of you know.
I got some don'ts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so talked about blush. I went to a comedy show. This is even like right when I first started, and I was just at the bar, but I happened to stay for the comedy, and I knew the guy that was on stage. And had I not known him, I would have walked out of the room when he posed this question. So they say know your audience, right?
Right.
You're at a gay bar. Chances are there's gay people there.
Yeah.
And like directly asked a lesbian a question and said, "When did you decide to be gay?" That's not a good question.
Right.
It's like, when did you decide to be an asshole?
Yeah.
Because you're an asshole. He was an asshole.
And that's not like.
And another guy made a trans joke, and there was a trans meeting in the other room. And regardless of if it could be funny, but if you're not a trans person yourself, it's very.
You got to be very, very
it's a
careful.
it's a fine line you got to walk.
Yeah. So like it's.
So know your audience and don't ask stupid questions.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate that like if somebody's going to be ignorant. I mean, once again, we were before we hit record. I'm like, some of us remember what bigotry was like before the internet. I could still understand why folks are being, when somebody says something ignorant, but could be construed as hateful. I'll try to give them the benefit of the doubt that they're being ignorant.
Yeah.
And to give them at least a chance to actually like. Holy shit,
Maybe
because
they accidentally spread that ignorance.
And I say that from personal experience. Like I came from a small town out in the desert in California, and then I moved to Manhattan to go to a musical theater school, a performing arts school. There was nobody who was openly gay in the town that I grew up. Probably a couple of folks that were secretly gay, but there wasn't a whole lot of multi-ethnic culture in a desert town of like 2,000 white people and a couple of Mexicans. So I spent the early part of the 90s asking the question, how was that what I said racist? I made those mistakes before and I had to learn, and it was very embarrassing and stuff. I was lucky that like one of my roommates, Selena, who was very, very, very much like at one point her bench press record when she was in college was 400.
Oh, she's a big girl.
Big girl.
Yeah.
Selena Bone, right?
Don't mess with her.
Oh, no, she was like a bodyguard and stuff because there was a gay bar right next door to where we worked. And every now and then it's like, come on, Dave, we're going to go get some margaritas. And I'm like, okay, like holding on to her shirt. And at that time in my life, being the young, innocent-looking kid from a small town, I was like a dirty old man magnet.
Yeah.
So they're like, who is this? Who are you? And she's like, get away from him. Stay with me.
Chuck might have liked you.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Not
so much.
I don't think I was ever.
You weren't a twink?
Nope.
I don't know what a twink is, really.
Oh, super.
Feminine, super femme.
Super
gay boy?
young, skinny.
Yeah.
You know.
Wasn't you?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
You're a cub.
At that point, I would have considered a cub. Now I'm more of I would be more of the bearish
You're a
chub
bear
person.
now, yeah.
So.
If you swung that way, yeah.
Yeah. So. It depends what time of last call it is. So.
Yeah.
I don't know, close. Now the. But yeah, I made a lot of mistakes, so I always try to
give a little wiggle room.
Little wiggle room, but then again, I can because I'm not a trans person.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I haven't lived their life, so they have more of a this one gal that I worked with at a restaurant out here. When she first started working, I could tell she had a big chip on her shoulder.
Mm.
It took a while. A little bit before she knew that I wasn't, that she didn't know the rest of the staff yet. And
She had her guard up, kind of.
she very much had her guard up and stuff. And it wasn't like a young person. This was a person in their 40s, early 50s and stuff. So I don't know how long they had been, since they had transitioned.
Mm.
So it's not like why are you being so defensive? Well, because there's a lot of assholes out there.
Because I've taken a lot of knocks throughout the years, probably.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's a weird thing. So that blush and blue. I'm always try to be a little extra cautious. Like I think there's one.
I've even offended the trans community. I had no idea.
I think everybody has.
I sang we were talking about Disney earlier, and I changed the words to the Little Mermaid song. I know lesbos and gay boys aplenty. Yeah. I know trannies and even some whores.
Right.
Tranny's not a well-taken word. I had no idea it was so.
So there were some people that got pissed off at Penny.
Really?
Penny from Heaven because she
Penny's a cross-dresser.
Cross-dresser, right? But she would call herself a tranny because she'd been cross-dressing for years and stuff. But
the trans community was like,
they were like, "How dare you!" Like she's been living this way for years and years and years.
Just because she's not taking the hormones or making the body changes.
Well, yeah, and that's the weird thing and this is a human being thing, I think. This isn't I'm not trying to put this on any one particular types of folks, but human beings, I think, love to group up and we're doing this and this and this and this and this.
Can't we just be people?
It's tough, apparently, and I think there's a lot of genetics from 1,000 years of trying to survive that that we're still kind of working through, and we're getting better. It's better. I mean, there's still a lot of shit, but talk to somebody who was trying to come out in the 1980s or the 1970s and stuff. See, that was a different story back then.
It's definitely getting interestingly accepted because people are just choosing to transition before puberty now, and it's like if you start taking the hormones before your natural hormones kick in or kick into high gear, it's like you can't even really tell that they were once a different gender.
Huh. That's interesting.
I'm sure there's some documentaries and such out there you guys can look
just look it up on YouTube. I'm sure you'll find a lot of information.
I love YouTube.
But yeah, it's what was our original point? I don't know. We were talking about trying not to offend. The blush and blue. I think I was trying to make and this bit wasn't as funny as it is now. It was still a little bit raw, but it was a religious joke, and I think I ruffled a couple feathers, and I'm like, seriously? I was part of me. I was like, you're going to do that? Of all the things to be offended about in here, I pick one thing that you think traditionally the LGBT community has no problem ragging on religion, But
you got a few O's. Oh.
And I'm like, yeah, you got that. Yeah. But I think it was because I
still take the O's. I mean, that's fine.
Well, I think, it was because I was talking about, I grew up Southern Baptist, and there were some folks from a community group that was Southern Baptist in there.
Oh.
So I wasn't trying to piss them off, but it was something where the effect of, I will run the bit, but it was like, I'm not a religious person, but I mean, I read comic books. That's about as close as I get, you know, because I'm like, what? I like superhero shit.
That's your church. That's
yeah,
fine.
exactly. And I was like, you take all the magic out of the Bible. Would you honestly give a shit what happens to it? And I think that was the part that where
some people take their faith seriously.
yeah, no, that's true, and that's really true. And I think, but my question still stands: if you took the magic out of it, let me know exactly how interesting you are, or that they are in that story. And that's still not funny yet. But the
working on it.
Well, that was the idea. Is that
your dog liked it? He's enthralled.
He is. He's heard that bit so many times though. He's like, dude, you need another. I told you, you need 3 more tags with that and the punchline that's actually funny.
I like the spike collar you got on. I'm like, can you guys see that?
He's super aggressive.
That makes him a badass.
Yep.
Boom. Are you comfy on my lap? You want down? You good?
I think he's doing all right.
He's good. He's enjoying my body heat. Okay, we'll keep you there.
So I got to hit up Kara again and go back and do another show there. Just because one of the things I like about Blush and Blue is that I really have to think twice, if not 3 to 4 times, about every one of those jokes and stuff. Not that like I want to walk on eggshells, but like if I'm in a room and I got this idea or this thought from these Portland comics that came through town about a year ago, Cor Cohen and Riley Fox, and they have Portland and Seattle both have most of the comedies all safe space rooms.
I've been through Portland and Seattle.
Yeah.
I like Seattle a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of
I visited Portland
a
couple of years ago, and I absolutely fell in love with that city.
Yeah, I think I just hit one mic there, but I didn't know they had a lot of... I mean, I know in Seattle there was one spot called the Womb Room, which I loved. Forget who hosts it, sorry. But it was like the first few spots were reserved for women or like LGBTQ, LMNOP people. Just going to throw the whole alphabet in there.
Right.
Why not? Because now there's ally in there, so wait, wouldn't that just be everybody?
I think, yeah, it's kind of, I don't know. I have some thoughts on that, but I don't know.
Anyway, you're talking about safe spaces. You're talking
safe
about
spaces, yes. And one of the things that Riley was saying is like, well, when you're in a safe space, even no matter what you want to talk about, you better make sure that you've set your premise up in a way that it's very clear and concise of what it is you are trying to say, you know, that's a joke and not just throwing something casually out there, you know, like make sure that it's funny. Like if it is going to be offensive, you better make sure that it's funny, or otherwise you're probably
somebody
not going to come
in the room
back.
better laugh.
Yeah, exactly. And hopefully like somebody gets it, but I don't know. It's this is weird. There was like some community. One of my other jobs is I work at a hotel as a bartender, and there was this LGBT like conference thing that was going on there. There was like a community action group and stuff. So I'm like, all right, I'm working the comp bar. This is where I make a pretty decent amount of cash. And then one of the younger guys is like, hey, I guess you're training me tonight. So I'm like, all right, there goes half my money.
Yeah. You have to give him half your money when you're training him?
Yeah, just because he's going to be doing half the work.
Okay.
I'm not going to sit there and just
that's
watch me. Well, this is the weird thing is also kind of messed up. So he's a very tall, athletic, young-looking, charming gentleman, young boy. I want to say like 21, 22.
She made more money.
Well, this is the part. This is what the idea was, because I was like, all right, he's got a charming Southern accent. Hold on. I was like, what are you doing? I'm like creating a playlist. I was like, what? So I'm putting like Rufus Wainwright, Morrissey. What else do I got? Lady Gaga. Like I'm trying to construct the, and I mean this and not in a defensive way. I'm trying to make the most gayest playlist ever, gay friendly.
Yeah.
So I'm putting all this music on there, even some obscure stuff that anybody who's done like musical theater and stuff like that would go like, oh, okay, that's interesting.
Did you put Rent on there?
No, because I don't. I
don't have that one.
I'm one of those.
I don't know if that's would draw a crowd or not.
I think any musical.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. Listen, the time that I spent there, trust me, they're like, which musicals are gay friendly? It's called all of them. Okay, and it's not that I hate musicals, but when you hear the music constantly through the hallways,
I think that might draw more gay men than gay women.
Well, that's what the idea was.
Okay.
I was using him as bait. Basically.
Okay, yeah.
So basically, the whole idea was like, hey, everybody, and not that I'm trying to put him out there and everything, but he's being chatty and stuff, and I've got the music on. And this was the lamest group of LGBT people that I've ever met. Like, this is free booze that's coming out, and everybody's like, I'll just take a cherry soda. And I'm like...
Was it an alcohol group?
Yeah. No, I don't know if it was. I don't think it was. I mean, they all might have one drink or everything, but maybe it's because they were working so hard and they were just so exhausted.
Focus.
But, like, I used to work near a gay bar. I've been working, like, with, the, around, if not with a certain amount of the gay community for a long time. It's not like I don't know. I'm like, oh, this is this is putting up a little flag and stuff here. Nobody even gave a shit. And I was like, man, I need to get more music.
Maybe it was bad choices on your part.
It could have been. Not everybody likes Rufus Wainwright, and I guess that is... to
each his own.
Yeah.
Sorry, you give it your effort,
Yeah, I think I needed more T-Swizzle in there. That might have been it.
Put you down. Here, he wants you. I'm going to put you down. Your dad doesn't have as much of a laugh as I do, maybe.
Oh, no, he's not so much. He gets too fidgety. But yeah, that was the weirdest thing because I was like, "Oh, you guys are all hanging out on the weekend and stuff." This is, but they had to keep working.
Maybe they were a lot of potheads.
No, they were all very preppy. They're all very preppy.
Well, the older I get, the less I think I like to drink. Like once I start drinking, I like to drink. Mm-hmm. And every once in a while, I'll crave a beer. It's like, oh, beer sounds really tasty right now, and especially with all the craft beers and breweries we have now. I mean,
totally.
Colorado's pretty cool. That's why people keep moving here. But
yeah.
But like, being hungover or like being drunk, like my girlfriend works at, I call it the biggest dude bro bar in Denver. She works at the Tavern downtown.
Okay.
Tavern Cowboy Lounge. And I see people get so incredibly hammered, like pass out, puke on yourself. Somebody's got to climb over the bathroom stall to get your ass out because you're unconscious in the toilet.
Oh, wow.
Like people allow themselves to get that drunk. I mean, I might have been there once or twice in my life, like way back in the day. Nobody's had to scale a bathroom stall, but I've definitely been to that point where it's like, how did I get home?
I'm gonna rest here for a minute.
Yeah, just leave me. Just leave me here. But the older I get, the less attractive that type of lifestyle is.
Well, this is weird. I remember there was this girl that I dated way back when that I didn't realize she was an alcoholic till we were like dating for about a month and a half.
Just lots of fun.
She was just lots of fun because I never saw. She would always drink like on the way to come see me. Or after,
a little bit,
pregame a little bit. So we, like, if we went out and like, she might have a drink.
So first she was frugal, but now it's just excessive.
Yeah, or the point she tried to not drink, and then just all this crazy shit started coming out, and we were just like, all right, this is not. I wasn't in a space. I wasn't capable.
It's like, will you please start drinking again? Type of thing.
No. Yeah, but it was kind of like, all right, we just weren't good for each other. It's one of those things. Like, if I met her now, I would have a better idea on how to deal with those situations, but like at 24, I totally didn't, right? So
that's the age. I used to think age was nothing but a number.
Yeah.
But it's also a level of maturity and experience.
Yeah.
I learned that dating a 21-year-old.
Oh.
As I was 30. Oh, Jesus, she was 15 years younger than me. 30.
Wow.
Don't do that.
No, that's for a weekend. All right. If you learn anything from this,
that's just for fun. Don't bring that home.
Not every person you fall in love with is meant to last forever. Sometimes it's for a couple of years, sometimes for a month.
As long as you learn something from it, though, right?
I think so.
You learn something. You learn not to date someone 15 years younger than you.
Yeah. Oh.
That was what I learned.
Well, the weird thing is about this person is that she. When I'd ask her, like, why do you have to get that drunk all the time? Because she had just a simple thought in her head a long time when she was really shy as a teenager, is that the only way that she felt that she could be fun to be around or be interested in is if when she was drunk.
Yeah.
So once that kind of got clicked in her head, then that never went away. So that was like at the ultimate, at the core of why she kept drinking is because she didn't like who she was when she wasn't drunk.
She wasn't interesting enough.
Or she didn't feel she was. I thought she was a very interesting person. But
it's like a crutch.
But if she didn't see that, there's no, until they could see that, there's no helping them. So I always imagine, like, when I see, because I still work in bars and stuff, man, like if somebody's like 50, 60 years old, and I'm like, oh, it's Friday, I need to get fucked up. And I'm like, you don't need to, but is that your idea of fun? It's like, yeah, I want to get in a fight with somebody tonight.
Yeah, let me see how hard I can make it for myself to stand up. Let's see.
Exactly.
Let's see.
This is what's going to be great about tonight. I'm going to make a horrible mistake.
Make some bad life choices.
See if I can get 86 from a place. It's the only way I can get attention these days.
I don't think I've ever been 86. Have you been 86 from somewhere?
No. Nope.
I don't think I have either.
But I'm not a big drinker, though.
No.
Like, I have maybe, like, the most you'd ever see me if I have it. If I get to a place I know I'm going to be drinking, I'll get a beer and a shot, and then I might get one more beer after that, and then after that I'm done. You know? So, I had a bad experience. One of the first times I got really plastered, somebody dared me to drink, like, a third bottle of Jägermeister.
Oh,
yeah.
No.
And then drink, like, vodka and
No.
Kool-Aid after that. It was not a wise move.
So do we know that you were easy to dare?
Yeah. Well, it's because I was 19 years old. I'm in New York City, and I'm like, all right, there's all these older kids here. I can't seem like...
I gotta look cool.
Yeah. And I had the wherewithal where, like,
young again.
his voice was like, hey, man, you got about 3 minutes before you start puking. I'm like, all right, guys, I got to go.
Well, I mean, at least your recovery time was probably a lot quicker. Like, had you done that today, like, you'd be hungover for a couple days probably.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, if any younger viewers are watching, just enjoy your body while it's young, because I did not know that hangovers could last more than a day. I think I've had like a 3 or 4 day hangover before.
Holy shit.
It's no good. I mean, then you start to drink to try to get rid of the hangover. It just postpones it.
Yeah.
Enjoy your body. Take care of your body. This is the only thing that you cannot lose. You get that. You have this with you when you're born. I mean, you lose it when you die, but I mean.
But you're not going to give a shit at that point, though.
Yeah.
Because you know.
You can buy a nice car, but you could lose that. This body should take care. We should take better cares of our body.
I agree.
More than one care, multiple cares.
Take many cares
of our body.
Many cares and stuff.
I started doing CrossFit lately.
Really? How do you like that?
Well, I haven't done it a lot.
Right.
It's amazing how sore you can be after just 20 minutes of working out.
Oh no, I believe it. Oh, I'm also very out of shape though.
Yeah, it's. I think it could be good. I'm not like gung ho hardcore crazy. I went and watched this Girls Gone RX at Elitch's this past weekend. My girlfriend does it, which is kind of why I'm starting to do it. Not the same gym as her, like separate on my own.
Right.
And you have to have our own in a relationship. Children, young people are watching. Keep your own things.
That is very, very important. Have separate hobbies and stuff.
Don't blend into the same person. That's no good.
Yeah.
Maintain your individuality. But I went to go see the Girls Gone RX at Elitch's, and that was pretty awesome. There's some really big girls there, too. I mean, there had been so many kids confused by the girls in the bathroom that day, because a lot of CrossFitters are lesbians.
What?
Yeah, a few of them. And plus, they're all muscular, you know, and some short hair, I'm just saying. I was confused a couple times, but I never give people a hard time for being in the bathroom. Even if I think it's a guy, I'm like... I go in the guy's bathroom sometimes.
Really?
At that Girls Gone RX thing I did. I put the seat back up.
Hey, that's classy.
Yeah, I'm saying. I used my foot to do it, but...
Because there's a lot of guys who would see the seat down and they're like, oh, who's the one who left the seat down, guys?
Well, the guys do. You know, it could have been somebody in there pooping.
Well, no, this is the reason why is there's a thing that drives me nuts is... I don't want to touch a seat because there's all these germs on it, so I'm just going to piss all over it.
And then more germs.
And then just add more germs to it, but fuck it, and I don't have to deal with it. And I hate it when there's times I've almost chased dudes out of the restroom where I'm like, get back here. What? Clean this. You fucking wipe it up, man. Be a human being for a little bit. And
well, some ladies hover, and sometimes the hovering causes a dribble on the seat.
Oh, dude, I get attest to that because when I managed the Peter Piper pizza out in Arizona, at the end of the evening, every now and then the teenagers are like, dude, I can't do it. I'm like, what? I'm like, the women's bathroom, dude, it's freaking nasty. And it'd be like, holy shit, man. Hey.
From hovering, or was like
from hovering, or
a period mishap, or
there's been that too, or the fact as we used to call them, the prize boxes, where folks would supposed to dispense of the feminine products.
In the trash, not in the toilet. Tampons flood toilets.
Yep. Oh, and on top of that, well, most, I would say the majority of women will do the kindness of wrapping it before they put it in there. There were some girls that would not do that.
Just drop it in.
Yep.
That's gross.
No, it's very gross, but I'm like...
Well, that's kind of gross because boys, earmuffs, if you don't like, men are, as I mentioned at the comedy show the other night, men are just probably... just happily ignorant about periods and what happens in that whole nether region during that part of the month. But I mean, if you're dropping it without wrapping it, that means you're grabbing it without toilet paper in your hand, which You pee on that string.
Yeah.
Unless you're changing it every time you pee. There's probably pee on that string already.
Right.
But, I mean, sorry if our one viewer is
Yeah.
a man.
So
the viewer goes to 0. But, I mean, anyway.
Nah, there should be a basic knowledge that every guy should. I'm trying to think of basic rules for any guys. That one, you should be able to know how to do dance just a little bit, cook one good meal, and then you should probably know the basics of menstrual cycles. It'll save yourself a lot of trouble when it's kind of like, what the hell's going on? What? Oh, wait a second.
Help with cramps. So if your lady's on her time of the month, you should probably go down on her. As long as she's wearing a tampon, you're fine. Just stay north of the border. Don't go splunking. You know what I'm saying?
You just learned something.
I'm here to
What?
help.
You just learned something there.
I think
Twitch.
I have a YouTube video, How to Please a Woman. It was at Devon's, and I had a sign language gal helping me out. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Candy, what's her name? Candace? She's another burlesque dancer. I forget her burlesque name.
I only know Cherry. That's the only one I know.
She's pretty bomb. You also, let's get off the period topic.
Yeah.
Another gal, Dirty Duvel. She can fuck a room of people without touching them like nobody else's business.
Wow.
And she also has very good costumes. She did an alien burlesque,
Whoa.
like with the alien head, and had like a heart that was like made out of Jello or something. Because at the end she like ate it with the head of the thing. It was bomb.
Dude, wow.
I'm saying, I might have that on my Facebook Live, like probably like months ago. Sorry, should be on YouTube.
There's some craziness. Like that's one of the things I love about burlesque is that like I have a particular type of gal that I am attracted to more so than other.
Voluptuous.
Yep. Big curvy women.
That's the cool thing about burlesque is they are so confident in their body. They can be larger girls and they own it.
Yeah, and I think well, this is the thing is that there's times I've seen, let's say, like a skinny, more of a waif frame will go up at dance and stuff, which isn't necessarily so like that's a person that I would pick out in the middle of a room. But it's amazing thing about dance is that it's strange that how somebody starts moving their body to the left, to the right, they start doing whatever, and it's like it's almost like a spell that comes over you, and you're like, you know what, I didn't see it before, but I can see it now. Holy crap, that person is very attractive to, you know. And so I don't know, that's the beauty, I think, of burlesque for me, because otherwise if I go there, oh, totally, and if I go there just to look at boobs, I'm like, first of all, I can do that on my phone. Second of all, the most horrible thing that I discovered at a strip club is that, like, what guy doesn't love titties? I would say most everybody loves titties.
Lots of ladies love the titties too.
But this is the problem: is that like after about 15 minutes of seeing all these titties, the magic like fades away, and it's kind of like, you know, somebody just told you that Santa Claus isn't real. Like, this used to make me so happy. Now it's like whatever, bro. It's like,
well, they got the tassels on. Maybe is that the little bit of a mystery? You don't know what the nip looks like.
I think that could be it. I don't know.
Sometimes they fly off.
Everybody's like waiting. Ah, you pervs. I think if I keep it to my schedule of only going once, maybe twice a year, then it'll still stay magical to me. But like I said, I've seen too many dudes that get used to the strip club, and then like, you've been there for too long, man.
I just feel bad. Even if I'm sitting back and watching, like I still feel like I should go give them money.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily want boobs in my face. Like I got a beautiful girlfriend that I would much rather have her boobs in my face. So.
You heard it here first, folks.
Have some familiar boobs, not some strange boobs. Sometimes the strange is good.
Yeah, no, strange titty is great, but if you see too much of it, and you're like, wait a second,
and
whose
you
titties
get
are
excited, and then there's no happy ending.
Yeah, and then suddenly, like, the only thing that excites you is strange titty, and you're like, shit, this is gonna be a problem. I don't have game every night.
Yeah.
Fuck. Like, oh, what am I gonna do?
So we're going to strip club after this?
Yeah, totally. After.
I feel dirty. Oh, but going back to Cherry Poppins, sometimes she has some type of thing that she does at the strip club. So keep your eyes open.
As a matter of fact, I think she's supposed to be going to, what's
Shotguns?
the Shotgun Willie's, I think, tonight or something.
Really?
So.
To dance or just to go?
I think I don't know.
She's tried to get me out there a few times. Like, free entry's cool. I mean, if you can get free entry in the strip clubs, I say go.
Right.
Otherwise, like $20, $30, $40.
Yeah, no. I don't know if you know this, but when guys get horny, they are really stupid. Like really, really
Just
stupid.
when they're horny? No.
More so when they're horny.
Yeah.
Like there was this idea that I had, like, and I've tried to work this idea out on stage, so I'm not running a bet on you, but I don't know how much. Maybe you can help me out with this because I wouldn't know things from a lesbian point of view, but I know with guys that every guy there's a special figure, a combination, hips, bust, ass ratio, a certain shape. Like you can think that everything's attractive, but there'll be a special kind, like his magic number. And when you see that girl with that figure, your brain shuts off. And then suddenly you are the biggest idiot on the face of the planet. And the only thing you're thinking about is like, you know? And it's a horrible thing because the idea of is like, hey, did you go to college? Did you develop study a bunch of skills and, you know, awesome things like study poetry or science and oh, not anymore. Your brain is gone. Now you're back to just being an ape, you know. So I always wondered if that was one of the reasons why, they, like, hundreds of years ago, like places like in Britain were like, all right, we're going to have men only in this club. I'm like, why? It's like, because we're trying to develop a cure for the bubonic plague, and all we've done for the past week is talk about Sheila's ass. All right? I understand she is as smart as everyone here, but Sheila, can you do us a favor?
Quit wearing the yoga pants?
Yeah, quit wearing the yoga pants. I don't even know where you got those, but we got to focus for like 5 minutes, and then like 10 years go by, and they're like, since we've excluded women from these groups, we've cured the disease, created a massive navy, and pretty much taken over the world economy. I didn't realize how much shit we can get done. and then that just snowballs into misogyny, apparently. But
you don't know where to go from there.
Yeah, I don't know where to go from that. But I don't know if women have the same thing where they see
tits and ass and they kind of go dumb.
Yeah, does that ever happen?
I'm gonna say no.
Wow. I'm so envious. That's great.
I don't think so. I mean, I've definitely been kind of like not necessarily starstruck, but I mean, when I saw the beautiful woman I'm dating now, I didn't necessarily know. I was kind of not necessarily a tool about it, but I was like, oh my God, you know, your smile is gorgeous. Like, my name's Sonny. I'm funny because I lead with that a lot.
Nice.
And I think I passed off a business card because usually I'll have business cards with me. I'm like, if you'd like to look me up, I would love to know more about you because she was going one way, I was going the other.
Oh.
So I just sort of like, so I definitely didn't have. I mean, I wouldn't say that wasn't game. I think I still had my wits about me.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely was sort of like, whoa, you know.
That's a baller move, by the way.
The card.
Yeah, no, but this is one of those things, man. And this is, I don't know.
It's not intrusive, is what it is. It's not like, give me your phone number.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Like, what's going on? How's it going? You know, you're not like trying to get.
Do you come here often?
How's it going?
Would you like to?
Yeah. Just want to let you know I think you're very attractive. Yeah. Tell me about your fella. You know how to treat a lady?
Yeah, you dropped something.
Yeah.
My jaw.
That whole.
That's bad.
Oh,
you
man.
can use that if you want.
No, but I was Cherry and I were talking about like the advent of all these dating apps, like the Tinder and all that other stuff. Which I'm not hating on those, but there's a certain skill that's lost, and that is how to approach somebody, a stranger that you've never met, and being like when you're like, hey, I'm Sonny, I'm funny, how's it going?
Yeah,
you know,
make the first move, sort of.
Yeah, exactly.
You just swipe now.
Yeah, I mean,
granted, they got Grindr for boys, and they got Scissor for girls.
I didn't know about that one.
But it's not the same as Grindr. Like, guys are on Grindr. Like, they're like, ooh, this guy's like 2 blocks away. Guys are promiscuous. It's totally fine. You want to get freaky, and you can. Like, guys might do that. Girls are more like the whole U-Haul joke. Like, usually when you meet somebody that you like you were ready to move in the next day. Not me necessarily, but a lot of lesbians. The joke is, you know, what does a lesbian bring to the second date?
A U-Haul.
A U-Haul. Yeah, I don't think so. On Scissor, like, I've got it on my phone. I'll go on there and it's like, oh yeah, so and so is looking for a relationship, but she was last on 2 months ago,
right? Or
this person was last on 5 months ago. So it's not like they're like, I don't think lesbian. Maybe there's different lesbian. There's another lesbian app. I'm probably not hep to.
Oh, I think in 20 years there's going to be a whole different type of lesbian that's different from.
There's polyamory is a big thing now. I get confused. Like I tried the polyamorous thing, which is awesome. You know, it's like more than one partner. But then if you're like, oh hey, remember we went to that movie last week and blah blah blah, and they're like, no, that wasn't me. Like that's I don't want to make somebody feel like that. You know?
No, it takes a lot of work. That's one of those things that.
And you gotta unlearn jealousy, and unlearn insecurity.
Which is a tough thing for anybody. I don't care who they are. There's and those alternative lifestyles. I guess that's the best because there's so many of them. There's like swingers are different from polyamorous folks, and
they fool around together.
Maybe not necessarily.
Maybe not.
Like this is weird. There's even different subsects of swingers. There's folks, couples that only want to play with other couples. There's couples that only do it.
Been to the Monchelet?
No, I have not.
They have wristbands that designate like single male looking to play or couple looking like different colored wristbands that you wear at the pool. If you guys don't know what the Monchelet is, it's a BDSM type.
I thought it was more of like a swinger place, but depending on what night you go to.
There's like sex chairs or the countertops are all the right height. It's like a hotel for nookie.
Right.
There's like shag carpeting that goes up the wall. I wouldn't bring a blacklight flashlight with you if you got one of those.
Not if you want to ever sleep at night again.
There's a sex swing in every closet that goes above the bed and hooks to a harness thing in the middle of some mirrors.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty.
See, this is the thing, because I spent a lot of time in swing clubs in Phoenix when I was younger. So I have been introduced to the lifestyle. You know, I know a decent amount about it and stuff. And the reason why I have no interest in going to one at like either Scarlet Ranch or Monchelet is because I'm like, I've seen what happens when folks get too deep into it. Yeah. Where it's kind of like, no, and I'm not judging and stuff, but it's kind of the point of like, imagine going down a YouTube rabbit hole.
Well, that's kind of like where you might not come back. Like, let's say you like a little bit of like spanked or something. Right. Then without that, your sex life just isn't the same.
If you do it, if you go to, if it becomes more. And now, if you have somebody like a partner that's willing to, that's part of that, you know, then that's one thing. But like, I think there was a story of this one, and I have the maturity warning on this thing. So,
good.
All right. So there was this older gal that used to come to one of the clubs. I think it was Sociables. That's not even there anymore. But she would come in. She had her white leather dress and stuff. She was like maybe in her mid-40s and stuff, and she had a little clutch purse filled with 30 condoms.
Oh my.
Okay, so she'd sit at the bar. She'd wait till she saw at least 30 guys in the club, and she would go back into the room and she would work through every single one of those. She came in like clockwork once a month, right? And the whole thing is that the few times anybody was actually ever able to talk to her, I don't think that she had like an actual relationship, and the only kind of like stimulus to that point where she kind of gotten herself, I think, to a point where that was the only way that she could ever kind of feel like anything.
Whoa.
So, like, there are folks. I'm not saying that anytime people want to go.
We just went to a darker place.
Yeah, no, totally, right? I'm not saying that that's where everything leads and stuff. It's just that sometimes it's like I've seen in extreme cases of that. Could be a slippery slope, and I'm
very slippery.
Yeah.
Sorry, no offense. Sorry.
But yeah, I was like, I kind of avoided those. Trust me, I slid into quite a few of those traps, but.
Wait.
I'm older. I
don't need to know details.
No, I'll tell you later.
Okay.
No, we're gonna go to the strip club after this. We'll be fine.
Drink some Jaeger.
Yeah, exactly.
Jaeger. Oh, callback. We just did a callback.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was just I'm kind of like, I've already seen a lot of stuff there, so you know. But no, we had like Jenny and I, we went to go see like a poly meetup group, and just to kind of like and see what that was about. And I think that if somebody's going to have like a poly relationship, that has to be like the main thing in your life, what you're doing, you know, at least for me, because I'm like, well, I got comedy and I've got these.
I've been called a habitual monogamist. I always find myself in a relationship with just one person. I've loved a lot of really cool women.
Nice.
I haven't always well, I like to number them.
Right.
So I've had 8 girlfriends.
Cool.
I think. And so if I ever do comedy, I talk about number 1, number 2, number 3. It's not all at the same time.
Nice.
It's different. But yeah, like I said, I tried the polyamory after a breakup. I was like, screw love. I'm not going to be committed to one person again. I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to do who I want. And it just never, I just don't think I like to share.
It took me, the way that I got over my jealousy was, and this is very, very cynical way, but I came up with this formula. This math formula, which if you need to use a bathroom, I'm okay with it. Callback number 2. Is it? I imagine what age that I think I'm going to die at, right? So that's why I figure out how many years that I have left on the planet, multiply by 365. That's how many days I have left to live. I take that, divide that into 3.5 billion, half of the human population.
Okay.
The number that comes up is how many people how many women I have to meet a day in order to meet every woman on the planet, right?
That's a lot.
Oh, it's the hundreds, 200,000 or something like that. So the idea that if one relationship ends, like to think that was the last time I'm ever going to find anybody that I'm going to be able to relate with is kind of asinine. So I'm like, oh, but the thing we kind of heard about it, I'm like, does that mean the love isn't real? What's going on? If it's not special? If it feels good and you're having a good relationship, that's what's important. Whether it's the most special, unique thing on the planet, that's what I had to let go of. And I was like, oh, that's my ego wanting to feel special. Fuck that guy. He doesn't. That guy gets me into so much trouble.
Ego.
So, yeah, that's how I was able to get over that. But that and I slept around a whole lot. So who knows? Hey, Jenny's home.
Oh, I like your knee brace. That's pretty pimp. I'm Sonny. Nice to meet you, Jenny. Are you the missus?
Yes.
Oh, I'm glad you're not the sister then. I want to be like her or something. Whoopsies.
No, I just have random chicks show up here. It's all it is. That's how I roll.
I like your place. I like the courtyard. They've got fish in the pond out there. Look, carp. Are they carp or
koi?
rainbow koi? I took a picture of one.
Oh, nice.
I'll post it on my Facebook. Do you want to wrap up?
Yeah, let's probably get going there because it started getting in some weird spots over here.
Yeah, we were getting some. We talked too long.
I'm sorry about that.
That's okay.
I apologize for that. This is where every conversation that I always have.
Again, we're talking about BDSM now. Let's stop.
All right. And that's where we say...
I'll post a picture of the fish on my Facebook page. Look me up. I've got a friend page, a fan page, a web page that's way out of date on YouTube, Twitter. I don't tweet much.
I'm trying to get in the habit of tweeting more.
Instagram. I do Snapchat, but it's not social media. It's kind of fun. No, not Snapchat. This thing called Marco Polo.
Oh.
It's like a video walkie-talkie.
Oh, nice.
So, but don't look me up there because I don't know you, probably. The one viewer that we've had the whole time. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Don't forget to follow at Sonne _Sheilds
I think that's
on
my
Twitter
handle.
Yeah, and then they use that as a link to get to know everything else.
Oh, nice.
Think. So, well, cool. Thanks for talking so much, man.
I'll tune in and watch some of your other videos, especially that porn star one that you said's got the multiple views.
That's very interesting. You thought that was a weird conversation that you and I just had?
Nothing.
Oh, my God. That gal goes deep.
Ooh,
she can talk about...
That's what they say.
Dude, she's seen some shit. Like...
Literally. All right, we're out.
Thanks so much for tuning in. Signing off for the Disjointed Podcast. I'm Dave Germain.
I'm Sonne Sheilds.
Have a great week, everybody.